When, in 2012, Mr. Toyota and Mrs. Subaru announced the arrival of their twins, GT86 and BRZ, the world rejoiced. Here were two cars designed not to save the planet, nor to take your entire extended family to the seaside in a modular lounge environment. No, they were designed to make you smile. They were small, lightweight, skinny-tired, rear-drive and affordable. This was the beginning of a new age for sporty motoring. Only it wasn't. If you looked hard enough, there've always been affordable cars designed to brighten up your day. Mazda especially has always provided for the enthusiastic driver. That's why it made the simple, wonderful MX-5 and the RX-8. The Honda S2000, meanwhile, is a complete screamer, and it's possible the same applies to the Hyundai Genesis. But I'm not sure, as it's only sold in Korea and the United States.
There are those among us who believe that small is better. That little something with the bulk engineered out of it must necessarily be more highly evolved. Phones, gadgets, television presenters. When it comes to cars, it should be relatively simple. Small cars have space only for small engines, and small engines, as we all know, means small power. However, small can also mean nimble. There is simply less of the car to change direction, so it can do so more quickly. But here's your chance to decide for yourself, with some small cars with enough power to make them a lot more than merely entertaining. The Fiesta ST is one of the very best, as befits a car that's competed on the World Rally Championship. As of course has the Citroën DS3, though the Citroën, like the Fiat Abarth 500 SS, clearly feels the need to tell the world that with some frankly silly graphics. What is it that makes all things small need to overcompensate with an unnecessarily showy appearance?
You can pretty much carbon date a chap, or for that matter the right kind of girl, by their hot hatch of choice. Like a first pin-up, a first LP, look that up if you're under the age of 30, or a first crush. Hot hatches are part of the fabric of us. Me, you, Clarkson, even May. Because it was okay to dream about hot hatches long before you were ever old enough to think about actually owning one. And it was okay to do that because we all might, if we worked hard at school, actually one day be able to afford one. So where are you going to start? Where hot hatches did with the VW Golf GTI, or its slightly chubbier but faster offspring, the Mark II GTI 16-valve. Then again, maybe Volkswagens aren't your thing. So there are Honda Civic Type Rs or a Renault Clio V6. But remember what I said. You can tell a lot about someone by the hot hatch that he or she craves.
Back in the 1960s, when petrol was free, the recipe for making a sports car was very simple. You stuck a big engine in the front, and then you took it out again and replaced it with an even bigger one. But then, in 1973, the Middle Eastern men who made all the petrol decided they didn't want to give it away for free anymore. Fortunately, some clever men in Japan had a very wise idea. Instead of enormous engines, they would create sportiness by making their cars small and light, with small and light engines. It was a philosophy that produced affordable classics like the Toyota Sprinter Trueno GT Apex. Later, that same philosophy gave us the Mazda Miata, or MX-5. In fact, it's a philosophy that's still creating some of the very best drivers' cars out there. They might not be big, but they're often clever, and they will always put a smile on your face.
Look very closely at this group and you will find the Audi Sport Quattro, a Ford and a Toyota. Otherwise, it's all Subaru Imprezas or Mitsubishi Evos. Literally thousands of them. Of course there are. This is the production rally group after all, and as we all know, only Subaru and Mitsubishi make rally cars. Or did make, at least. However, if you are over the age of 12, and before you all head off down the road in whichever vintage Impreza Evo takes your fancy, do take a steer in the Escort RS Cosworth. Because without the Ford, there would be no Evos and Impreza. The Cosy invented the concept of a car as hooligan. Think about it. Largely unsophisticated four-cylinder turbocharged engine? Check. Unjustified sense of invincibility inspiring four-wheel drive? Yes. Leery aerodynamic appendages? Oh yes. Not that bother you care, what with all those Imprezas and Evos to play with.
Here we come to the hot hatch group, and never underestimate how important hot hatchbacks are. Back when they first appeared, they gave drivers hope. They showed that a sports car didn't have to be a rusty, leaky old Triumph or MG. It could be practical, convenient, and still amusing enough to give you cramp in your smile muscles. The hatches here are some of the best of the breed, starting with the excellent Ford Focus ST, which gives a textbook demonstration of how a hot hatch can be sensible every day, yet still give you kicks when you drive it like your trousers are on fire. Then there's the VW Scirocco R, technically a coupe, but it has a hatchback, and with 260 horsepower, it's definitely hot, so it's going in here. And if it's even half as likeable as the Mark I Scirocco I owned many years ago, then you'll want to marry it.